Hello, and welcome to the Contraband, where 6 Shakespeare actors play Blades in the Dark. I'm Ted Bushman, Gamemaster. My pronouns are he, him. Joining me on this tale of daring desperados, quixotic quandaries, and arcane answers are Jamie Hansen, Ben Isaacs, Kristin Perkins, Bram Borden, and Carson Wright. Good evening, friends. It's been a week. It's been a lot going on. So tell us who you are, who your character is, and what existing Duskfall NPC you would play if your character is out of commission.
I'm going first, as usual, I assume. Jamie Hansen, he, him, playing Varric Lomond, and the existing Duskfall NPC that I would play would probably be another Lomond family member. I would want to be Letitia, his sister, and be actually good at things, hopefully, for a spell.
You'd be pretty cool. Love it.
Hey there, my name is Ben Isaacs. I use he, they pronouns. I'm playing Hix Templeton, the psychedelic spider. And I think if, man, this one's kind of hard. I don't know. I think I'd kind of like to play Bryce Meriden. You know, he's
a gem.
I think he's a little bored. Maybe, maybe he'd be down to cut some capers with the crew since he's kind of our buddy.
Yeah, if there's anybody in Duskfall who feels like they're actively doing lots of other things, it's Bryce Meriden.
Hi, my name's Kristin. I use she, her pronouns. I play the girl, the resident lurk.
The girl who has a name.
Whose name, as revealed in the last episode, is Kayafel. And I was also going to say Letitia because I love Letitia Lomond. She's my favorite. I think she's awesome. But barring her, I think one of the kids would be very fun, like Tulip or the window guy.
Windows.
Windows is great and has his own fanfiction. So it's pretty good fanfiction. It's
Windows
really good fanfiction.
Yes. That's a big deal. The only character in Duskfall to have fanfiction. That's only a one appearance urchin. Thank you. Shout out to Kate.
Yeah. All right. Is this me? No.
It's
yes.
you.
It's
you.
W.A.
Right.
Yeah. I was like,
Hello, I'm Graham Ward. My brain just blue screened. I play Bram Borden, who is the cutter. However, I also play an NPC from Duskfall named Bardia Rathsbane. So I guess that's like my default answer.
Sure.
But if I had to choose another, it would be Ash Boy. No question.
Yeah.
Ash Boy!
Ash
For
Boy,
those who don't know Ash Boy,
Tisha and Bryce.
Yeah, there's our party.
Children's Duskfall.
How old is Ash Boy?
I believe previously he was even as 11 years old. I think he is now 12 or 13.
Okay. So now the same number of packs that he smokes a day.
Yeah, exactly. This kid is in danger.
Oh, my pronouns are he, him.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And Carson.
Me, I am Carson Wright. My pronouns are he, him. I play Aldo Basran, or at times languishing leech, to do some alliteration. Thank you, everybody.
Good.
Hold the applause. Okay. As far as NPCs I would want to be, I'm so surprised I'm going to say this, but please let me play Morgan, please. Okay.
I want to see it.
If only to kiss on but
You had your chance when you stuck him with the needle. But
They're a good choice.
Seriously, I think they wormed their way into my heart, even though Aldo does not like them.
Aldo does not like them, but Carson does.
Surprising.
I love it. Those are great answers. Thank you. So for our recap from last time, the crew went into, or was still in, the Lost District. They undertook a long and complicated ritual. They encountered absolutely horrific things. A dog that turned out not to be a dog, which everyone knew wasn't a dog, but only Hix had the courage to shoot it in the face. We also, as the ritual reached its apex, we had the entity that Bardia refers to as the Midwife began to reach out and in fact flooded what appeared to be the entire Lost District, a rise in ocean level of about 90 feet. And it is now like covering the gardens of the manor. The girl was able to, with the help of the ghost Lyran, step into her past where she experienced and saw herself as an infant as the subject of a violent ritual, which was intended to give her great powers as a whisper. She then was able to see her father attempt to rescue her from this ritual and see that the ghost Lyran was the one who finally saved her from death. She had learned as part of this that her given name was Kayafel. It was a short session last week. We didn't get to do everything. So tonight we're going to get back. We're going to actually rewind a little bit back before then, but we'll get in. You'll see it happen. This episode will make sense. So this episode and this show in general is brought to you by Ghostlight RPGs, an ancient collection of otherworldly entities bringing the spirit of live theater to TTRPGs. And if our non-Euclidean geometries please you, we invite you to follow, subscribe, and to take a look at the Ghostlight RPGs Patreon. Content warning: the Contraband is a crime drama set in a dark and unpleasant city and featuring morally ambiguous characters. Episodes will almost certainly contain strong language, brutal violence, and sex. They may occasionally also include human trafficking and danger to children, though we generally will avoid violence towards children. And on that note, we must apologize for failing to properly warn of a pretty frightening image of harm to an infant in our previous episode, which was the ritual that the girl observed. It was happening in the past, but it was still, hypothetically on screen. So this episode may include particularly gruesome and frightening images, and it's possible that we will return temporarily to that image of this infant, so just be advised. So, load your pistol with electroplasmic shot, slam open the creaking door, and descend with us into the Contraband. Bram Borden, you've just been handed a cup of water. It's a wooden cup. It's soft. It's made out of what you actually identify as silver cherry wood. Casimir, sitting across from you at a table, smiles, his lips still closed. He says, "How's your head?"
Yeah, it hurts. I'll be all right.
Glad to hear it. Do you drink the water?
Sure.
Yeah. It's cold and refreshing. Casimir watches you as you drink it. Now that you're alone with him and he's not surrounded by collective members sort of all dressed in the same way as him, which can often create this sort of this effect where they all seem to blur together, you're able to see a little bit more of his specific features. He's pale, like paler than you, and a little bit with at certain parts of his body you can see his bluish veins. He's tall. His black hair is slicked back with wax. His bottom teeth, you notice, are a little bit unaligned, a couple of teeth competing for the same space, but he's sort of adjusted for this in the way that he smiles, not usually revealing those teeth. His hands are clean. His fingernails are well kept. Even now, he's dressed in the formal shirt that he wears for the collective's operations. His eyes are a deep blue, so deep that it is nearly black. He wipes a few crumbs off the table. I'm not important enough to have ever spoken with the stag about it, but I've said that the third rule of the collective should be avoiding strong drink. You were in quite a state.
That's not a rule I follow.
I imagine not. You are you hungry? I've got some food for you.
Yeah, Bram will give it a second and just nod.
He goes to the sort of the kitchen area. It's in the same room. It's a small sort of flat you're in. You notice as his back is to you that the chair that you're sitting on is very lightweight. You notice that the table in front of you is only like a few boards of rather light wood. And as he brings the plate back, it's a sort of thick, sort of paper-like substance. The utensils are sort of a light wood. You get the sense that there is a specific reason that everything in this room would have difficulty being made into a weapon. What he puts down in front of you is a strange dish. It's black beans with bloody sausage. It has a really strong smell of foreign spices to it, not from Duskfall. He says, sorry if it's unappetizing. Most of what I know is old family food.
The family food? What was that?
Oh,
mean?
yes. Well, you remember, second rule, no personal questions. So I shouldn't have said
your
that.
family?
Yes.
I see.
I suppose I can say that much.
What do I interpret from that in terms of like his actual background?
His features are pretty identifiably Tycherosi, as is the name Casimir.
Yeah. Okay.
But the weird thing about it is that he has no visible indications of the demonic blood that many are familiar with people of Tycheros. There's nothing visibly demonic about his appearance.
Okay. Well, I'm really holding back on the food, but
Yeah.
and like I would like to scarf it down because I'm just probably really hungry, but like slowly picking at it, eating a couple beans at a time.
Yeah.
And I'll say, may I ask if I'm free to go?
The door's just there. What I'm worried about is your head. I know I didn't intend to hit you as hard as I did.
Oh, I'm sure you intended to hit me just as hard as you did, sir.
It was a bit of a reflex response. I didn't understand exactly what was going on.
Nah.
Would you explain to me a little bit what happened the other night?
Oh, I need to ask your forgiveness. I simply became, well, not myself.
I've never seen you like that before. It's true.
I was much more inebriated than I intended to be, and I made a decision under the influence. I became confused. I think I really don't remember much.
See, when I don't become drunk often myself, I don't handle it very well, or I don't like who I am under the influence. But I find some get somber, melancholy, some become a bit more belligerent, but I've rarely known them to come 4 districts away to see a man they don't know.
No, you're right. It was strange.
You were in the area?
I was in the neighborhood.
I see.
I happened upon the
Heron's Roost.
doorway at the Heron's Roost. Happened to see you. I don't know what I was thinking, which is the reason for my apology. I hope the fox is all right.
What do you think would be an appropriate role to convince Casimir?
Oh, probably sway, which is something which I have nothing.
Right. So you could roll. You could roll. 2
I mean, I
dice
could
and
do a
take the lesser.
consort, but I'm lying.
Yeah, you are lying. It'd have to be reduced effect. Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
But you could take it with reduced effect, and you could push yourself for effect.
I'll do a consort with reduced effect.
Okay, great.
Okay, a 6.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna make you aware of a couple of clocks. One of them is a clock we've already been aware of, which is the Eyes of the Collective, which is currently at 2 out of 4. We're not going to put anything more into that with that roll. But the other clock is called Casimir Assuaged. This is a 6-part clock, and we're going to put 1 tick into it.
Okay.
So
You see,
Casimir-
I'm not the kind of person who likes to bandy about explaining himself to other people. My actions generally speak to who I am. But the other night, those were not the actions of Bram Borden. So I hope you forgive me. I won't sit here and tell you that that's not the kind of, what sort of person I ought to be or who I usually am. But that's not me.
I'm surprised to hear you so apologetic. You've often struck me as someone who rarely does so.
But I like to be a good man of business, and I think that a trusty worker is important in our line of business.
Yeah, good man. That's a phrase you also said the other night. The fox said something to you. How are you, my good man? And you said you focused on that phrase again. What is that?
Just feigning ignorance. Sorry, I don't know what I said.
What do you think would be an appropriate role for this?
I'll do another limit. This time it's got to be a sway. So I'll roll
Okay.
2 and keep the lower.
Yeah, this is a fight scene as dinner table conversation.
Yeah. Can I? This is great. Can I sacrifice position for effect in this?
Yes.
So make it desperate, and I'm rolling at 0.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
5.
Okay. I'm gonna put. Yeah. So you're giving yourself basically normal effect on this. This is a sway. So we're gonna put 2 ticks into Casimir Assuaged. But we're also with desperate the consequences. I'm gonna put. Let's see. Yeah, we'll put 2 ticks into Eyes of the Collective and finish that clock. So Casimir looks at. So Casimir looks at you, sort of blinks a few times, and you're totally not sure what he's thinking for a second. He looks at you and sort of nods a little bit, and says, "I see." We're also I'm going to make you aware of another clock, which is at 0 out of 8. This clock is called "We Know That You Know."
Okay.
So, nothing has happened to that particular clock yet, but the clock of Casimir Assuaged is at 3 out of 6. And with that desperate action, I'm also going to put 1 tick into a clock called Casimir Unconvinced, which is a 6 part.
Okay. Sorry, team.
You're doing great, Bram.
Keep it up, buddy.
Hang in there.
Spirits
We're
of your
behind
friends.
you.
Yeah.
I know that we have not been working with the collective for very, very long. But I trust we have proven ourselves somewhat useful.
Oh, more than useful. I mean, I'm no major figure, but I think the collective has come to like you a great deal, particularly you, Bram.
Do I believe him that he's no major figure? Is he just playing humble?
You can make a roll to see.
Yeah,
if
let
you
me
can,
see.
This is a controlled position roll.
Study?
So like failing is not. Yeah, failing is not gonna. Not gonna give you big consequences.
No, it's only 3.
Yeah, no idea. He could totally be a grunt. He asks, there's a young woman there, and you said her name, and she said something as well. I'm just gonna throw out here, you can tell me what you want this to have been, Bram. The rule of the collective is that only first names, and during this conversation earlier, you said your last name. Did you want to have said that or not?
Oh, yeah. If I'm aware that that's like...
You are aware.
That's true even with affiliate partnership kind of things, then I
Yeah.
would not have said my last name.
Great, cool. So we'll stricken from the record. So he's going to say, I noticed you said her name, and she said something when you came close also. Because if we recall in the episode, she said Mr. Borden. You know her.
I did know her. Yes.
I see. And from...
I thought we didn't ask personal questions, sir.
You're right. That's a good point.
I understand it seems concerning, it seems pertinent, but surely you work with people occasionally about which you have learned something.
No.
Do you let that count against them?
No, it's a good question. You see, one of the challenges is that we work in an operation where we should know little about each other. But it's important to know who knows what, you know. And
Emma, what does she know?
Emma's a customer at the Heron's Roost, as far as I was aware, a friend of the Foxes.
A friend, I see.
Yeah,
Her
a friend of a
presence
friend.
startled me.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen anyone from my past in many years.
See, it's true that in my position as a sort of protector to both the stag and the fox and occasionally the bear, I might need to ask a personal question or two. I would love it if you could answer honestly.
Is on the record.
I'm not taking any notes here.
Ask away. May
How do you
we
know Gallo?
make an exchange?
An exchange.
A question for a question.
Certainly. You go first.
Now you've caught me. I gotta come up with
That's great.
I know I want to dig into his background. I'll say, how did you first come to work with the collective?
What do you think would be an effective role on?
I'll do it.
Roll for your
I'll do a
convincing.
consort.
Great. Yeah.
Can I sacrifice position for effect again?
Yes.
3 5s.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Casimir is going to say, yeah. When you're an immigrant to Duskfall, the only way you really get work is by knowing someone. My brother and I came out here together. And I suppose I tried a bit harder to be friendly. And I was able to make a few friends. And they happened to lead me to the collective.
I see. Thank you.
No.
I'm sorry
With
if I've infringed in any way.
We made an agreement, Ron. I'm gonna put for the 5. I'm gonna put a tick into. We know that you know.
Okay.
All right, my turn then.
Of course.
How do you know Emma Gallo?
I was a tutor of hers.
A private.
Is that another question, sir?
No. Well, I'll refrain from that one. All right, your turn. Another question.
Is your reputation as a protector simply based on your ability to use a weapon?
Hmm. I think you would know, given your place within your crew, that people like us aren't simply muscle. Or at least, to work at our level we can't be. I suppose that I've gained some skill in understanding an organization and some bit of discretion. I feel that you have the same. That's not a question. Simply
Very little
observation.
discretion, sir.
Are you happy with your work with the collective?
No.
Interesting. You may ask me a question, and my next will be, why?
Why did you keep me here? Why not leave me in the street?
Well, we reached out to some of your people. I tried to go and find Arisha, I believe, your friend. Weren't able to find her. No. It seemed we didn't know where you were staying.
Yeah, it changes, you know.
All right. Tell me about your feelings about your work with the collective.
I don't respect rich people. If I ever knew anyone all my life, anyone who struck it big, made a load of coin, every single one of them turned into a bastard. Not a proper bastard, mind you. They turned into someone who didn't merit respect, someone who took it, someone who leveraged their coin to build power over others, and it always came at someone's expense. I don't pocket a lot of money myself. That's not why I do this, not particularly. I don't have some flat where I'm hiding things under the mattress. And so to work for those people, it reminds me of my father.
So you're being very careful with your words. The reason I feel like a role is appropriate here, you can tell me what you think.
Sure, yeah.
Is the question of how much you reveal the underlying feelings.
Yeah, of
What
course,
that
of
might mean.
course.
Okay. So yeah, whatever role you think is appropriate.
Okay. Let's go with another consort.
Okay.
5.
Okay. That'll be another.
Just running down that clock about they know that we know.
Yes. So 2 out of 8, and we know that we know. And I'm going to put you at 4 out of 6 on Casimir Assuaged. And he looks at you. I'm sorry. I appreciate your honesty with me, but I'm just surprised. I mean, look around. And you look around at this very dingy apartment that Casimir lives in.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I think you might have the wrong impression. You know, owning a big restaurant like the Heron's Roost or a place like the Corner Cafe, these places sure have a lot of wealth going through them, but the costs are enormous. And you know how we're recompensed as part of the collective. I don't think the profit margins are as big as you imagine.
That's enough coin to put a lot of rings on some fingers. I mean, I'm not accusing you, sir.
No.
But I don't work for you, not directly.
No, certainly you don't. It's true. What do you mean about rings on some fingers? That's an interesting phrase.
The fox, sir. You know as well as I do.
The foxes. I don't know. To me, he seems the least interesting of the leaders of the collective. I barely know
That might be
him.
so. That might be so.
What's your role on this? That's a tip of your hand, I
Oh.
think.
Okay,
Or do you want to just take the consequence? Because I think that's a tick, and unless you want to roll to try and cover it up and be convincing.
No, I'll just take the consequence.
Okay,
It was brazen.
Oh yeah, totally. So that's another tick
Somebody
until we
was-
know that you know. Yeah.
What, Carson?
I thought some might even say reckless. Good grief.
Well, guess what
Yeah.
my trauma is.
There you go. There's your XP. I hope it tastes
Hope you
real
like
good.
it.
The crew's real pleased about it. Okay. Casimir sort of sits for a bit. Maybe he has enough, some of his own food and keeps eating it. He says, I'm afraid I haven't been totally honest with you. I asked you about Emma, what she said to you. I wanted to hear what you had to say. There's a man named Bram Borden we heard a bit about. I'm curious if you know anything about that man.
The man is dead.
What kind of dead?
There's only one kind of dead. It's a kind that leaves a ghost behind. Now, if you excuse me, sir, I'm shit out of questions and I've got to take a piss.
No, of course. It's upstairs. It's on the left. So.
Will you be here when I get back?
I intend to be. I'll I had thought to invite you to stay another evening. What would you say to that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, all right.
I
Food's good.
thank you. My brother cooked it better. I was busy with other things.
See, now you're making more questions.
Oh no. Well, perhaps we'll have more discussions later. But the keys. I've got a key, but there's a key in the door. Do you decide to leave? It's open to you.
Okay. I'll stand up, throw my napkin down, and walk upstairs to use the facilities.
Great. Does Bram have any reaction once he's on his own? What is it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I think. I mean, if the camera is pointed at Bram, while no one's watching, he's breathing heavy. Unbuttons his shirt or whatever it might be. Sits there. Hello. Sits there and just kind of melts down a little bit in his quiet way, and then flushes. No, sorry, not. There's no flush toilet, I guess.
No,
but
there'd be a bucket. Though.
Yeah, he'll splash in the bucket.
Yeah. Hello, creatures. Hello, humans.
Oh.
I like that the very much alive ghosts of small children will appear during Bram's moments of trauma. Our visitor can say hello if they would like, Cram.
That's okay. She's more likely to scream or bang on the keyboard.
Certainly. We're going to move away from this moment with Bram and Casimir. We're going to move to the top of the hilltop in Lost District. The Hix our friend Hix. You stand in an ancient, crumbling mansion in the Lost District, standing outside a ritual circle that your friends have created in the ballroom and which they've been interacting with for the last 12 boring hours. You feel an ache in your side from this. There's blood and sort of a black liquid seeping through your shirt. This demonic bite is still having its way with you. You feel, normally a wound like this would feel these physical pains of acid, but there's something else, which is these sort of emotional pangs that it gives you from this demonic blood. You find yourself both sort of aching physically and then feeling momentary pangs of bitterness and untrustingness. You find yourself ready to snap at Varric at any minute, but then it passes like a cramp. You're armed, yes? What are you packing?
I have a pistol in one hand, in my left, and then I have this huge backpack that is full of Leviathan blood.
Yeah.
I was wearing my nice warm feather-lined jacket for to face the cold, but that was taken by the scary dog. It was covered in Leviathan oil, and so I sort of like burning, so I cast that off. So all I've got is this pistol and this Leviathan oil, and the armor that I was wearing is damaged, chewed on, and just one little pistol, and then my little like spring-loaded palm pistol. Well, it's not really spring-loaded, but
Sure.
And my trusty.
Yeah, you're standing next to Varric. The two of you sort of outside the circle. Varric hasn't stepped in yet. What is Hix's general attitude towards what's going on?
I think generally not very chatty.
Yeah.
Just like paying attention to what's going on and observing the rising water.
Yes.
And trying to make sense of it, because if the water is all the way up here, then it means that Duskwall is basically underwater, which could that really be the case? I don't know. So just sort of like disconcerted, and I think I would take a moment to survey from the hilltop, survey the route back to the Orca's Tooth to see, to sort of plot the best way to get out of here.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can make a survey. This is from a controlled position.
Great. Oh my god. I rolled double ones. So it just seems like the water is high, and I am...
Yeah, in fact, here's the thing that you do notice is like maybe you like climb up the stairs of the ballroom and like head into like an antechamber, which like normally it'd have this bay window out looking on the garden. It'd be very romantic, and it's like you're on a boat. I mean, it's just like the ocean is around you, sort of creeping up onto the garden, and you start like even looking west. Normally you would have like a pretty good view of most of Duskfall. You just see banks of clouds. It is essentially like impossible to see what's beyond the area just around you. So yeah, it's hard to tell anything about about what's going on.
We'll just start walking, and hopefully we make it home.
Yeah. As you come back down through the glass double doors, you look out at the garden. There are ocean waves washing over the flower beds, nearly drowning the twisted willow tree. You can imagine all of these flowers just drowning in this salty water that they're totally unused to. And with the waves coming closer, there's this strange singing that fills your ears. The waves begin to leave things behind. Their fence posts covered in mussels and barnacles, crabs crawling over one another up the stairs. The sea bulges. There's something under the surface, hundreds of feet away. Water sort of rushes off like a shell, but it's never fully off of it. It goes back down before the water's gone. And as it comes a little closer, there's a voice that emerges from it. It says, "Little egg, I found you again."
Little egg. Okay. I'm not going to respond to that. I'm just going to keep doing my rounds and like, oh god.
Yeah.
I think I'd maybe go back to Varric and be like, hey. Because at this point, has Varric already stepped into the White Gate or into the ritual circle?
No. This is before
probably,
that happens.
When you
yeah, I
get back
think
to
I
him,
just-
Varric's like sitting down, examining the like Leviathan blood we've got, kind of weighing it, because he's also got a pack of it.
Great. I'm like, did you hear that?
Yep.
The voice. Do you hear these voices? I'm sorry, this sounds crazy, but do you hear these voices and see this water?
I see the water. Yeah. Do I hear the voices?
You do. And in fact, the sound of the waves rolling in your head is a little bit familiar from a time when you felt the call of some tides back in season 1.
Yeah, I see the water. Voices. What are they saying to you?
Little egg, I found you. And I don't know that it's being said to me. I don't know if I'm overhearing something. No one's ever referred to me as little egg before.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Okay, well, hopefully they're going to be done with this soon because I want to leave. I want to go.
I mean, putting us all at a great deal of risk for whatever this is.
Certainly so.
Bardia, you hear that call loud and clear, and you know that it is directed at you. You're still involved in the ritual. Does Bardia respond in any specific way?
Oh no. This is very bad, my friends.
And Girl and Aldo, you are both you have not yet entered into the ghost field. The ritual is not yet complete. We're going like 5 minutes before it all happens.
We need to move quickly. There may be a way that we can accelerate the ritual. And then, of course, that takes into account the fact that we did last session.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's great. Right. So as it moves forward, we reach once again the apex of the ritual. You feel suddenly this energy strengthening around you, and you all are transported into different areas of the ghost field. Even Hix and Varric perceive these other gates that have happened. So Bardia, you stand on the deck of a ship. It is covered in gore. There are bodies of sailors strewn about this, and in the center of the deck, 2 piles of salt as if poured out of barrels that you now see empty nearby. This is a very primitive and brutal version of this same ritual. You stand here on the boat. What do you do? You know you've reached the ghost field. You know that the ritual has succeeded.
Yes. Swiftly move toward the salt gates. And the implication is that I can pass through myself, or that
Yes.
Yeah. Just very quickly, almost like averting my gaze from this, the wreckage, which probably reminds me too much of my childhood.
Yes. Yeah. You step through. Where do you go, or what are you trying to do?
Bardia has come here to reveal a thing, has come here to sever his connection to the midwife. And so his goal is to ensure that she cannot track him, watch over him, end the connection that is brought on by the touch of water.
Yes.
Well, is that going so far?
So I'm going to...
before we all end up swimming.
Yeah. So I'm going to create a clock called Severing the Silver Chain. As you step through the gate, you are immediately underwater, deep under. You feel the enormous pressure, a mountain's worth of water pressure on you, and there is a silver chain around your neck, connecting, going down into the dark. You feel all the sensations of not being able to breathe. You by reflex have stopped yourself from breathing, but there is in front of you a figure. They are a small girl, a child with long grayish hair. She is standing in the water like someone would stand in the air, like their hair isn't floating. She's just standing there, floating in the water. There's sort of big blackish structures of rock around you. Sort of, there's volcanic steam vents where crabs gather in the super depths of the water with enough warmth in order to survive. She is holding in her hands. Well, first you see that she's wearing a dress in the style of ancient Duskfall, black with a high lace collar. The fabric appears stiff as if soaked with salt water and then left to dry many times. She holds a dripping, enormous mollusk in her hands, about the size of a human skull. And it opens up to reveal a slab of flesh that is covered in mouths and eyes. These mouths and eyes appear to be of different creatures. There's a cat eye, there's a mouth of a dog's snout, a cracked parrot's beak, and like the eyes of a spider. And the mollusk and the girl speak with one voice and say, "Here or there, my little one. My love transcends the boundary between earth and sea, between truth and waking.
Your love has caused bloodshed and misery all across the millennia. Surely you know yourself this is a lie."
Little egg, it is this. And she reaches out towards your head, and the creature. So she reaches the mollusk up, and it sort of points at you and looks at you and says, "Is this intelligent? It is burdensome. Too much for you. You need simplicity." And suddenly the pillars all around you are crawling with crabs, these tiny things, and they start crawling up your feet. If you would like to make an action to attempt to begin severing the chain, you may take an attune action to do
Yes,
so.
I would love to attune myself to, I want to get creative here, but I don't want to undercut
please.
the literal and figurative enormity of the midwife. So I was thinking that maybe I would try to attune to some part of her that might be ghostly. I don't know if that is possible, or if it would be more like attuning to some kind of ghost to use as like a shield, a spiritual shield of some kind.
Yeah. I like the idea of using a ghost. It might even be that you could, in the real world, use one of your
absolutely
spirits.
No question. Okay,
I think
so
that.
So I will pull out a nail file that belonged to the ghost of my great grandmother. Family heirloom, the first ghost that I ever summoned when I was a child learning these ways. And I will try to attune with it to the point where essentially the midwife, my hope is she won't be able to distinguish between the two of us, and the ghost will block the connection long enough for me to then, cut away or...
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
To break it. Yeah, I love it.
It's only a 3. I should have pushed.
Oh no. Okay. So we'll put one tick into severing the silver chain. You bring forth this nail file and summon forth the spirit of your great grandmother, who comes forth and looks back at you in confusion and goes,
"Hugs and kisses. You're here to protect me. Thank you."
"Claudia, you're not yourself. But yes, I shall protect you." And she sort of turns in the water towards the midwife, and suddenly you're not really in the water anymore. You're on the boat again, and sort of flickering out of states of being. And your mother sort of turns towards this young girl, and you, Hix and Varric, see Bardius like eyes closed, summoning this ghost that appears, and it floats out towards the window, and a huge tentacle comes forth out of the water, and the wave then crashes over, and you see that the ghost of Bardia's grandmother has been destroyed. She is now she's permanently gone.
It just like exploded into like a cloud of ectoplasm.
Yeah, just
I guess.
it sort of splats down onto the ground. Yes, a pretty brutal end. And the midwife says, "How broken you are. how lost. And you are watching Hix and Varric, and Barty, you're able to also be aware of reality. You see the waters encroaching more. They're in fact now 6 inches up against the glass doors, and water is running underneath, close to the circle of the ritual itself, which would break the seal on the circle. She says, and as she's speaking, she says, "Coral torn from its mooring, a newborn adrift in the deep." Bardia, what is your next action?
It was you who broke me. I'm reluctant to tell you. I will pull out another, just immediately. I've got like a bandolier of objects. I will pull out.
The whole family's here.
Yeah. This one's a wedding ring that belonged to. We'll say, a wedding ring is a long, lived heirloom. So we'll say that this belonged to like a, third cousin, 3 times removed in the. Yeah. In the like higher up in the family chain long ago.
Yes. Yeah.
Someone from like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'll do the same thing. I'll attune and try to bring the spirit as a shield. Yeah. I'm just like this. I've stocked up on my Pokemon, and now they're coming out.
This is the plan. Yes.
Okay, that's a 6.
Okay, great. Yes, we'll put 2 more ticks into severing the silver chain. You bring forth this figure who brandishes a scimitar and says, "You will go away from my kin," and like strikes at the midwife with this spectral blade long enough that you, Bardia, attempt some magic, and everyone hears this resonating clang of metal as one of the chains of one of the links of the silver chain is broken. So you're partway there. We will now jump to.
Sorry, real quick. So are we outside the circle? Are we seeing the Kraken fight the ghosts?
Yes,
every
you
time?
Are seeing this happen. Yes, yeah.
Okay, I think I would just generally join in. I don't know if this could be counted as an aid action or a setup or something for whatever Bardia does next, but.
Yeah, absolutely. You could
like shooting them with these like kind of electroplasmic bullets, or like I don't know, just shooting the Kraken arms when I see them, or does that seem appropriate?
I would say it's possible that like our goals are different though. Like Bardia is doing a mystical thing, whereas I think killing or like fending off the midwife is different. Is that fair to say, Ted?
I think that is fair to say. Yeah, I don't think Hix would be attempting to help you, since he doesn't know your intent.
Yeah,
I mean, I think I'd be just shooting on the Kraken arm.
Yeah, shoot it. Yeah, make a shot, and then we'll put it.
I mean, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it's just for flavor. Yeah. I don't know if you got any like Kraken clocks ready to start.
Fire away.
I've got Kraken clocks by the dozen. Come on, man.
Great. That's a 5.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to put a tick into a 6-part clock called Tides in the Mansion. So this is the bad one. This is the water starts to rush in more, and you feel it lapping at your boots. However, the shot ringing through shooting through the glass door shatters the door and strikes into the midwife itself instead. And this clock will be the lullaby interrupted. And this will be an 8-part clock.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I know that we're kind of playing around with time, but seeing the water beginning to lap up to the shores, is there furniture around that like Varric could begin to try to push in front of the door to like, block it and
no
stall the water a little?
Yeah, I think absolutely. What do you think would be an appropriate action to try and get in there without getting, I guess, prowl maybe, so that you're not getting noticed by the midwife as you do this?
Yeah, I do have lessened effect on prowl because of my demon bite, right? I believe it was on the leg, and I think we said prowl, skirmish, and tune. Yes. So I'll try it anyways.
Yes, great.
I'll aid.
Take that aid. It's a 6.
Okay,
but
amazing.
Lesser effect.
Yes, reduced effect. So I will put 2 ticks into the lullaby interrupted. So you're sort of trying to block out the midwife as much as you can. So now we will step in. Let's now for the oh no, we'll do this later. So the girl, we're going to go back into your dream. So let's say that while this has been happening, you've been severed from a connection with Bardia and the others. You haven't noticed any of this fight going on. You have been with Lyran, passing through your history. You witnessed the ritual in the basement of this poor house in the Lost District. You are now Kayafel, standing on the surface of the river mist. The water laps at your feet harmlessly, giving none of the brutal cold that you know the water would feel like right now. In the water below you, you see yourself as an infant, pushed to the surface by the hand of Lyran. Watching yourself, you, the child, cough and sputter, gasping for breath, as only, with the desperation that only newborns truly possess. Though there is no basket to carry you, you don't sink. A cradle of bluish ghost energy surrounds you, and you see yourself floating westward along the river mist. What do? Do you follow yourself?
Yeah, I will follow myself. I'll also try and reach out and see if my present self can affect the current of the water or which way the baby moves in the river. Can I?
Yeah, you find yourself, you push a little bit, you find yourself able to, without like feeling like you have to crouch down or step down, you're just suddenly at the level where you can push it, like you're in the water but not feeling any of the resistance, and you push at it, and it costs you, it takes about if you want to like jostle it, it takes the effort of like shoving it, it takes a lot more effort to try and affect things in this space, but yeah, you're able to sort of push at yourself a little bit, and you actually find yourself seeing obstacles and sort of pushing yourself out of the way and feeling that it might be not solely Lyran who is responsible for your survival.
Yeah, I'll keep following my infant self through the river.
Yeah, you pass all the way across the river mist, and true to its name, there's a thick mist over top of it, but you see other figures. You see people like actively murdering each other in boats. There's some people like, I must go back for my child, and like stabbing the boatman, stealing the boat and sort of hurrying it back across, and other fights, gunshots are ringing out. There's screams all around you as this baby is just moving slowly through the water. You find yourself heading downstream and eventually reach the shoreline of Six Towers. And this far south, you see there are a lot of people trying to cross directly to the north end of Six Towers, but here at this middle level, there's less people. And a man, middle-aged man in the vestments of the old faith, is standing at the edge of the water with a lantern, sort of walking close, and sees you, the child, down in the water below.
I'll try and push myself towards him, towards the...
Yeah. He looks like he's about to turn away, but at your push, and maybe if you call out...
I'll cry out, yeah.
Yeah. He sort of turns backwards towards you and looks down and... Oh, my dear. Oh no. Looks towards the Lost District where the lights have gone out, and he crouches down and lifts the child, and looks at young infant Kayafel, who's now just crying and was quiet for most of the ride, but now with contact with a human begins to cry. Oh, child, what have you survived? Oh, you're cold. Pulls you close.
I'll, as my current self, sort of reach out to him and whisper, "You must take care of her. You must make sure she finds her way to safety."
Is that you, forgiving daughter? Oh. Yes, I will do as you ask. I will. and you hold her close, and as you see him hold her, you see the back of the infant's neck, and you see blazing on the back of the neck is the symbol, Kyafel's ring. And you, Kyafel, the grown woman in the ghost field, suddenly feel this electric charge run up and down you. You will now gain a new special ability associated with the ritual that was done to you as a child. I have 3 choices for you, and you choose which one it is.
Okay.
The first is Compel, which is a whisper ability. You can attune to the ghost field to force a nearby ghost to appear and obey a command you give it. You are not supernaturally terrified by a ghost you summon or compel, though your allies may be. So that's the first ability. The second is Tempest. You can push yourself to do one of the following: unleash a stroke of lightning as a weapon, or summon a storm in your immediate vicinity. This can mean torrential rain, roaring winds, heavy fog, chilling frost, etc. The third ability, my notes are not complete here. Pick it up. This is a lurk ability called Ghost Field, which it's on your character sheet, so you can read it, but let me read it aloud. It is: you may shift partially into the ghost field, becoming shadowy and insubstantial for a few moments. Take 2 stress when you shift, plus 1 stress for each extra feature. It lasts for a few minutes rather than moments. You are invisible rather than shadowy, or you may float through the air like a ghost. So you can choose one of those abilities, which you now have.
Mm-hmm. Gosh. I will... I'll choose Tempest.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You stand on the coastline here. You see the priest of the old faith standing looking out at the water. Do you, not that you have to, I'm just asking, do you use your ability?
To create lightning?
You could make a storm to go make him go inside with this baby
Yeah.
instead of hanging out here in the cold.
I would love to use my ability.
Okay.
Yes, sure. Yes.
Great. So you will, if I'm correct, you will push yourself to.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would love to push myself. Thank you.
Great. So what is the weather that the priest experiences? What
Sure.
happens on the coast of Six Towers?
I think there is sort of a sudden crack of thunder, and just one of those amazing moments where there is like suddenly downpour, like suddenly you must get out of the rain, and you must do so hurriedly.
Yeah, it's just immediately slamming into the water, and all of you know, of course, that on the night that the Lost District happened, one of the things that mitigated the loss of life was the sudden and seasonally incorrect rain that appeared and stopped many fires and saved many people from dying. So, the girl, what? So you've just done this. So now we'll momentarily have to jump back into the moment of you shoving Barty out of the circle. But before that happens, we are gone from this moment. Varric, by this point, you have entered the circle. You now stand before a white gate. And I mean, it's possible that you're in your own space. Tell me what it is that you are seeking in the white gate.
Seeking answers about why we got dragged here. He's kind of aware of the girl's desire to know more about herself, but he wants to know what brought Aldo to this place.
Yeah.
Why is he so determined to come to this house in the Lost District?
So, Varric, you find yourself standing on a cold shore of this greenish grass. It's sort of grayish grass. Obviously, grass is often green. At the edge of this ocean, the sun is through the clouds. Indicates that this gate was built before, long before the breaking. Aldo, when you enter the ghost field, find yourself in a stone hut, and standing outside of it is a small wall with like a tiny little break in it with white stones, a miniature white gate. You walk out and you feel this incredible sense, surprisingly, of peace, that you have finally reached the place where you can get your answers and where you can be alone and know exactly what it is you want. And then Varric is right next to you.
You doing here?
Well, you got us into this mess. I'm trying to be curious.
He looks around for Bardia. Is this how this works?
Words bounce off of the rocks in the ocean.
Well,
fine. Don't get in my way.
Leon?
Have I already taken the harm to be in here? Is that...
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so you'll have seen, Varric, that there is what has subsided at this point, but his arm is now showing the signs of the ghost burn on his chest, as if it has spread down his left arm along his veins into his hand. So there's these kind of
calcified
on the arm.
And here in the ghost field, they are utterly bright electric blue. There's like active energy sort of pouring up and down them, whereas normally they would just be blackish. How does your harm manifest itself, Varric?
So at this point, Varric would probably check, because he got a ghost burn. I think it was the end of season 0 when we were going to the helping the railjack. So he's going to check it to see, and I'd imagine that just because of actually what just happened, instead of the ghost burn on the, he'll check it and then glance down at the leg, and where the leg kind of was injured, it's starting to look almost like sunken in from the demon blood that splattered across it, and smoking, sort of, instead of glowing brightly, just like this dark billowing blackness coming out of it, and it's stiffened up and can sort of barely articulate it.
Yeah. It's just staggering as he walks. Yeah.
Great. Aldo looks to Varric. I don't understand. Where is everybody else? Why is it just you?
I don't know. Look, you.
What are you looking for? Why?
You showed me this place before. You showed me something.
Yes, I know. It wasn't my intention. I didn't know.
Well, it's my intention this time.
Fine. Well, if you're going to help me, do not stop me. And he turns immediately away from him, and he's gonna just attune straight away, or whatever he needs to do to start with a question of, where is Danya?
Okay. In order to do this, you walk through the gate. So the cost you have already taken is the cost of this question.
Great. Okay.
So you feel like the pain in your arm expand, and you step through the gate. Varric, you follow quickly. And I'll just say mechanically, this is a little bit meta, but Aldo, at the point where you want to leave Varric behind, Aldo will find that he is capable of that.
Okay.
Capable of locking Varric out. So if there's an order of operations to that for Varric to see, to play with what Varric sees.
I don't think he's considered that right now.
Great.
So that's all right, but good to know.
Yeah. So, Aldo, you step into the world and suddenly see Danya, your niece, about 16 years old, sitting at a little glass charter hall cafe in sort of the poorer area of charter hall, eating a very eggy, runny dish that you know that this kind of thing. You actually might even know this restaurant. It's owned by a couple Catalan people, but it's Akarosi food, and it's not very good Akarosi food. And you've eaten here before, kind of to have a little bit of a taste of home. Danya's sitting here, shaking her head at something. She's got a letter in her hand, which she sort of holds and looks at uncertainly, puts it back in her coat pocket. She leaves the restaurant, and you find that she is being followed by two men. They sort of shuffle after her, sort of looking at her around corners. And one calls, "Hey, girl! Stop there, girl!" She's hesitant. Do you do anything in relation to her while she's in the cafe or the men? Okay.
No, I'm watching these men particularly.
Yeah.
Who's
Varric,
this?
anything?
Aldo.
You do see, Varric, that she's Catalani. You could do a study roll if you want to be sure whether or not there's a relation, but Varric might not be super knowledgeable of the sort of racial differences.
Oh, don't see anything.
Yeah.
Creative.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, this is a person. This must be someone who's important to him. You're able to piece together. Yeah, you're not sure exactly who she is, but this must be someone important. Honestly, the semi-racist conclusion that might be a relative might occur to him, though he wouldn't be certain of it. These men start to follow a little closer behind Danya, and she turns to, "What is it you want?" When they turn down an alley, she's trying to get away from them, finds herself at a dead end, and the men say, "Well, nothing wrong, dear." It's starting to get late, to get dark out. Just wanted to see where a pretty young thing like you is heading this evening. Come on. You need somewhere to stay? The other one walks a little bit closer.
Are their faces visible to me?
Yeah, they're both bearded men. They are they're able to, you can see their faces. They're pretty haggard. They look like street folk.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
And can I see the letter? Is it still out of the envelope or anything?
It's inside the envelope, but you're able to reach out and time can freeze and you can take the envelope.
Great. I'm gonna take it and see what this letter is.
Yeah. You see there are actually two letters in her hands. One of them is addressed to you, and the other is addressed to Danya.
Okay.
You see the one addressed to you that sort of unfolds out of the paper as Danya stands there looking sort of boldly at these men. And you see, actually, as time is frozen, she has a knife behind her back.
Mm-hmm.
And the letters, the letter from Danya is very hopeful. She talks to you, Aldo, about how she's looking forward to having you come to Duskfall. She talks about how she's found a very pretty park. in Six Towers, or she'd like to go with you, and that she found some flowers that she's growing in a pot in the place where she's staying. The letter isn't finished, however. It just sort of ends abruptly.
Okay.
The other letter is a description of an offer of work. It's someone talking very vaguely about some work that's a little bit unclear, and the name at the bottom of the page is Casimir.
Mm-hmm. So,
and you see the note is crumpled, as if she's been hesitant about it, as if she's tried to
great.
protect against it.
Like she's been looking over it for some time.
Yeah.
Fantastic. He's so Aldo, without going too much further, as he's like starting to get like deep breaths. Is this enough to know that these two are responsible for her disappearance and demise?
Yeah, if a few flashes of moments.
Yeah.
You see her face down in the canal nearby. You see the two men bickering with each other. You see one of the men is shouting to the other, "You did this, I'll tell the bluecoats, I'll turn you in." And you see another body, one of these men, in the corner of this alleyway, and the other man gone, and then like flashing again, and you find yourself in the deep snow, and find the other man lying in another gutter somewhere in the middle of winter, his hands black, his face blue, dead of exposure.
Both of
the men responsible are dead. If you want to follow Danya's ghosts, that is also possible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't want to rush you.
No, I think that's fine. Just understanding the situation of the visions I saw is that one of them blamed the other.
Yeah.
But they both ended up. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loud car noise.
Aldo, that's the sound of his heart.
Yeah.
Just want to find where this, where her ghost has gone or ended up, and why he hasn't been able to find it.
Yeah.
Where is she now?
There's a moment, and this is part of the same question. It costs you nothing else. You watch her ghost breathe out of her mouth, out of her dead mouth, and comes out, and she's immediately in the same position as her body. She sort of pushes up and sort of breathing desperately, and you just see her, she can't cry as a ghost, and just sort of like confused, pressing at herself, but the press of her hands barely affects the mud in the gutter. You flash forward and see her moving through the rain, the rain falling through her. We see her floating over districts. You see her floating by the dockside, like at night. Sort of, they're near to these lightning locusts that are sort of crackling with energy that might hurt her, but she's coming as close as she can, looking for a boat, looking for a record of a boat that might be you coming to Duskfall. Her hands sort of moving up and down it, and you see sort of seasons passing, and then before your boat comes in, you see her start to sort of lose a little bit of her understanding of things. She starts drifting as other ghosts do. They see ghosts fighting in the atmosphere above the city, and eventually gets to a point where she's sort of traveling with this pack of ghosts, sort of half melding with one another, sort of fighting against each other. She's still confused and still sometimes talks to the ghosts and asks them where her uncle is, and is sort of desperate and confused. And then there's one day where you see these ghosts drawn by a lure of something, and you see a bunch of spirit wardens on a boat out in the middle of the river mist, and they sort of come close, and these ghosts suddenly are caught in this electroplasmic web that sort of pushes down, and just she gets pulled down to the surface of this boat. And and you see as the men in silver masks sort of look down, and one sort of pulls this enormous lever, and electric current pours through the ship. The light is blinding off of their masks, turning them white as all these ghosts are incinerated, and the ectoplasm pours into the ship. Danya, sort of looking up confusedly through the net, and just in utter confusion, is gone.
No. Can I back it up and pull her out?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can absolutely attempt to. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna back
That's
it up and I'm
time.
gonna try to pull her out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of this trap, of this ghost. I don't know what to do with it, but away from it.
Yeah. So you can try to attune to see if you can reach out to her ghost energy and try to pull her out. This trap is quite powerful, and so will have reduced effect on what you do. You can push. You can make it desperate.
Yep. All of that, please. I'd like to push. I will try to get her.
So you're pushing for a second.
Roll.
You're pushing for a second die. Is that correct?
Yeah,
for a
third
fourth die.
Third die,
right.
and then
Yeah.
can I make it as a desperate roll?
Yeah.
I
And
could
Varric, are you doing
assist.
anything?
I could assist potentially if I am still seeing this. If you,
I have not
Any
even
push more.
thought about you. So you're here
Yeah.
and you've been
Then-
quiet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
just kind of not interacting with Aldo, but I
Yeah.
assume Varric sort of saw everything progress and then reverse back again,
Yeah.
and just behind him, kind of, just reaches out, doesn't touch Aldo at all, but just kind of, I guess, emotional support.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how the ghost field works. It's just
Yeah. It's great. So yeah, you'll take a stress. You'll give him another die.
Okay. Gosh, a 5.
Okay. So we're going to create a clock, which is Danya Freed, which is going to be a 4-part clock, and you've put 1 tick into it. And with the desperation, with that desperation, the consequence is going to rise. This is going to be a level 2 harm, which is unmoored, which is what this is going to be. So you can choose to resist it.
Nope.
and take the stress. Okay, you're just going to take the
Yep.
sure. Yeah. Yes, this, you just feel yourself as she's down there, and her ghostly hand is reaching up. You're like down, floating as if you're floating in water and looking up, but you're down, pulling at her arm. Varric is next to you, and you feel the eyes of these ghost wardens sort of turning towards you as they notice something strange happening in the ghost field. And one of them sort of mutters to another like this in a speech that you don't understand. And they sort of step forward across the deck towards you.
Okay. This is
Danya
fine.
is looking up and is not certain what is happening. I'm also going to put 1 tick into a 4-part clock, which is Danya lost.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Fantastic. This is gonna happen again. He's going to try to, if you'll allow this,
Allow it.
Ghost
Whatever it is.
Ward himself to make the area enticing for spirits to encourage them in. They'll experience torment if they don't get here.
Yeah.
So I'd like to wreck an area on myself, and I'm gonna take another one of my missed shots and jab it straight into my heart through the calcified stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
And then start that wreck action. If that's okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. Make it.
Okay. Fantastic. 6.
Okay. Yeah. You in the real world, you stab this into your chest, and you feel this sort of energy flowing into you as you push the energy begins to pour around you, and all of the ghosts who are trapped inside the net, all of them at once look up at you. You have the 75 ghosts are all just staring up at you, and their hands are reaching towards you. and we're gonna put 2 ticks into Danya Freed.
Okay.
So she's sort of pulling up, and all of these other hands are trying to grab yours. The spirit wardens mutter to one another again, interference, and you see 2 of them pull at levers again, and more electric charge starts pouring into this. We're going to put 1 more tick into Danya Lost. So it's 3 out of 4 Danya Freed, 2 out of 4 Danya Lost.
Okay. It's at this moment that Aldo turns around to Varric and he looks at him and he says, "If you ever wanted to help me, now is the time. Help me."
I'll help you kill yourself.
And he's just gonna turn around and he's going to start like he's been doing out in the nights, beckoning ghosts with greater fervor, obviously. And as he does so, he'll turn around and look at Varric one more time.
So, what do I like in this ghost field? Does Varric have everything he brought with him?
Yeah.
Is there any way he could take one of the canisters of Leviathan blood that he had and dump it on the ghost wardens?
Yeah.
On the spirit wardens?
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
He's giving away his money.
Tough.
He does have a heart.
Yeah. That be finesse?
Okay. Yeah. Let's roll it. Oh no, Jamie. How did it go?
2-1-1.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So Varric, you sort of reach through the realities, and it's this very, very strange sensation, like realizing that you had something with you that you didn't think you had brought with you, and pulling it out and having this totally foreign sort of deja vu feeling. But you sort of break open this canister, like crack this glass open against the mast of this ship, and pour this Leviathan blood over the spirit wardens, which becomes, as it falls, this sort of strange, prismatic, energetic power that's sort of moving through the universes into the past. The spirit wardens, one of them is utterly consumed by it and immolated instantly. They are, and like you see them collapse in this like white fire that burns through them as they collapse, kneeling. They're not immediately like incinerated and gone, but they are immolated by this. The others, however, reach up and sort of towards you and pull from at their powers and pull out these arcane sigils, and you start feeling yourself taken with the power of this as it tortures you and pulls at you, and you feel yourself being rent apart. Too much of this and you'll be torn out. This is a level 2 harm, which in your case, well, you could resist it if you've got the stress to do so. It's your call. Or you take the level 3 harm.
Well, I thought you can have 2 level 2 harms.
If that's the case, then yes. It is the case. Yes, you can have level 2 harm.
I will resist it, because this is a resolve resistance.
Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Since it's like a spiritual thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
You got this, man. You got it. Just need to roll higher than a 3.
It's a 5.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, so it's gone. So Varric is able to pull away from it. With the other part of the failure, I'm going to move Danya lost 1 tick up. We're 3 and 3.
All right.
All right. And I'll make my little beckon. I am gonna push myself.
Okay.
And I would like a devil's bargain.
The devil's bargain is that the white gate will give you this power to attempt to pull her out. But someone else you care about will die.
Oh man.
Did the devil get a promotion or
The
something?
devil
like
the devil is level 2, everybody.
Just give me 1 second.
No more crushes. No more. Somebody will remember this.
Somebody I care about will die.
Somebody you care about will die.
Jeez. A lot of people. Shoot. I can't take that risk.
You could take it. It's safe, Danya.
That's like, it's only Ash, boy. I'm tired of role playing.
Yeah, come on.
Oh my gosh.
Free Ted.
Take it. Come on, take it.
This is messed up. I just don't think I can do it. I can't.
Everybody wants you to. Look at them. They all want you to take it.
It's okay.
Oh my gosh.
Hix
You don't have to.
abstains.
I take every devil's bargain. You shouldn't listen to me.
I usually do too. I love it. I just like, I'm like, how does Aldo get out of this cycle of being responsible for the death of people if he's responsible for the death of somebody?
Seriously,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
No, I mean, he feels the offer.
Okay, it is
Take it.
a 5. I didn't take it, so it is a 5 again.
Okay. So, all of these ghosts are gripping onto your hand, like this web of all of them, and Danya at the center of it. And these spirit wardens are moving to like, one of them is like chunking like an electric engine in the electric tank into this thing, trying to power it even more. And you're moving to the powers driving through these cables you see moving towards the group, and Danya comes free just as the last of this energy fries her. She is pulled out. Danya is freed, but as you look into her eyes, you see that she has lost so much of who she was in this last pull of being yanked free from the ship. But she like soars upwards into the sky, out of the range of these spirit wardens, as do dozens of the rest of these. Others are just being consumed as it goes. They're flying past you. You can feel this energy moving past you. Danya is free.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
gone for now. Unless, I mean, you could follow her if you want. But
Great. And is Varric still here?
yeah, if he wants to be.
Okay.
He's muted, but yes.
Gone, free. The spirit warden is down there. This moment ends, and Aldo catches his breath for a minute. More questions? And goes to ask another question of the gate.
Yeah.
He's going to ask, where is the man with the many... No, where is Casimir? That's it, first.
Okay. Yeah. So you step. You're sort of inverted in the air, looking down at the ship. You step as if moving up a stair, and then suddenly, boom, you're back on the island with the little white gate in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And you ask the question
Mm-hmm.
and go through. You are able to see
Does this cost? or anything?
Yes, this will cost. This is a lesser one. This is going to cost you either 2 stress, a level 1 harm, or a dot.
Okay. I will take 2 stress.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. You are standing.
Oh, I can't take 2 stress. I already took 2 stress. I need to take a level 1 harm, and otherwise called a level 2 harm.
In this case, yeah. It's
Yeah.
level 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. This will not be permanent. This is just a.
No, that's all right. I think it's again the same thing of like passing through this ghost field that it like pulses again, and more of my veins are becoming calcified, crawling up the
statue.
neck and the other. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
In places.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's coming up. You step forward and you are in the house. He is sitting at the table with the sausage dish that he's half finished. You hear water upstairs, but you don't see Bram. You just see Casimir sitting at the table. You have free reign over the house.
Okay, I'm gonna lay ghostly hands on his neck.
Oh.
I don't know what
Yeah.
it's gonna take.
Yeah.
Can I do it?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, you can absolutely do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think you could roll either an attune, which allows you to do this in the spiritual world, or you can do it with the action you would use in the physical world.
They're even, so I'll just go with a tune.
Okay.
I think for thematic purposes here.
Yeah.
And assuming he can't see me, this is a 4.
Okay. Yeah, you find yourself you're standing
and I think Varric,
yeah.
I would have left you behind.
Okay, good. That means I don't have to worry about trying to stop this.
Yeah, in a dramatic fashion, I think he looked at you and said, "I have more questions," and then went,
Yeah,
No!
Yep. And yeah, Varric is suddenly, on like a street looking up at a white gate through a window, sort of in his own version of the world. Casimir, do you come up behind him or like just in front of him and just choke him?
just go walk up to him and just hopefully start to choke. I mean, he's assuming, like, Aldo's assuming that this is like, he's gonna try to affect the ghost world in this situation. He's not drawing his sword. He's looking at this as, I am sort of ghostly and I'm gonna try to manipulate this with. That's why attune works for him, rather than drawing a sword and trying to cut him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Yeah, you walk forward. He stands up as if he's going to walk towards the dishes, and so there's suddenly this moment of you right in front of him, and he doesn't see you. He sort of looks up right in your direction as he's passing to look up the stairs. Your hand shoots out towards him. You grab him around the neck, and you immediately feel it connect, and the ghost energy sort of sear into him. He immediately balks, his eyes go wide. He then steps backward, ripping himself out of your hands, and then his hand lifts and he holds it very tightly, and you see black runes appear all around the edge of his kitchen behind him. and Casimir's eyes briefly burn black, and you see him holding in his hand a little like reed trinket with a bit of some organic material in it. There's a little blood left in his hand. This is something that he's clearly used to activate some sort of defense. Steps back, and you suddenly feel yourself being pushed out of the room. He's sort of and you can hear him trying to keep his voice down, but Bram, you do hear him shuffle back.
Yeah.
And his foot clang against the wooden chair, and it falls. And he looking around.
I'll come down the stairs pretty quickly, swing the door open, and is this what I see? I mean,
yeah. He's your footsteps in the time that your footsteps are coming down the stairs. He's able to sort of pocket this thing. his neck is like has these pinkish lines on it, looking for all the world like someone has slapped him across the neck. He pulls it and says, looks at you and goes, I tripped. But you can see his eyes continuing to sort of look around just a little bit, and you can see still the fading sigil of these black runes around.
I would like to attune with my ghost fist, and I say, "Get out of here, you fucking spirit!" and try to like lunge at where I think the ghost might be.
Yeah, push me out of this question. Push me out of this question, please.
Okay.
I'm done here. I don't like it here. Get me out. No, this is good.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead and
Bram
make your-
attune.
Yeah. Go ahead. Is attune how the ghost fist work, or do you use skirmish with it?
Good question. I guess it is skirmish. I just have the special ability that lets me use my ghost fist.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so you're activating it.
And I'll have Bram push.
Yeah, great. Cool.
That's a 5.
Okay. So you step forward, and you feel as the ghost fist glows, you just sense a little bit this silhouette that at first is not at all familiar to you. But you sort of leap towards it, make this punch, and maybe Aldo, you like catch it a little bit, even though like the power of it still hits you. I don't know. What do you think your reaction is?
I think he's gonna take it, and as it's, my hope is this would set him back to the White Gate, and out of this particular vision. But
Yes.
I think there is a moment right in there where he says, you hear him say, what was, I can't remember what he said to you, Rom. He called you so weak or pathetic or something at your inaction.
So strong, so useless.
So useless. Yeah.
Useless.
And then having seen what he sees is you in Casimir's house punching whatever tried to hurt him, says useless. You might hear that before he's
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
you
I
get this glimpse
feel
of
like
Aldo's
the
face,
ghost
yeah.
fist on my hand, and I'll just kind of try to push, even if it's not physically, energetically push the spirit, just out of the space.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of left.
I'm so sorry. I didn't think there would be a ghost make it all this way into this neighborhood. Are you all right?
Oh, I'm fine, sir. Good thing I was here to save you, wasn't I?
I'm gonna put 1 tick into 2 ticks into Casimir Assuaged. So you've finished the clock where you've assuaged Casimir.
Yay! Thank you.
And I'm also, with the 5 Aldo rolled, I'm going to put 1 tick into We Know That You Know. Because this is the kind of thing that later they might piece together.
That's
to
like
understanding it.
Okay.
Yeah, you know how it is. So we're currently
Cool.
at 4 out of 8 on We Know That You Know. That's not a lot at all. So with that moment, we will take a break. So the ghost, Aldo, you get swept out of the room. You're back at the White Gate. The fog is still quietly rolling in. You still have time. You still have the chance to ask any more questions you need to ask. And with that, we'll take a break, and we'll come back in just a few minutes after we've had a moment. So, oh man, guys, it's wild.
Oh boy. Okay.
All right,
See you soon.
see you all. And we're back. We're going to jump back into our game with a little recap of things that have just happened out in the manor. There's a moment where Lyran and the girl are face to face after Lyran showed her past, and Bardia then reached out to attempt to capture Lyran in a mirror that was one of his belongings. He successfully was able to do so. The ghost was sucked into the mirror, and the girl wrathfully, unless you want to edit any of the behavior here, Kristin, shoved Bardia out of the circle. And as Bardia's heel sort of presses in, you see a little spray of sea salt that falls out from under him in slow motion. Let's say he's like exactly facing the glass doors, one of which has been shot through by Hix's pistol. The shape of the midwife emerges full force from the water, this enormous molluscoid shape. There are now crabs crawling all up the stairs towards you, and the water splashes hard against the glass windows, shaking them at their core. Bardia, you now stand face to face with the midwife. You have been ejected from the circle in the midst of your attempts to sever the silver chain, and you feel the opportunity slipping away and the bond re-hardening as the moment of vulnerability is lost.
Bardia just shrieks and has like a complete breakdown and is just like sobbing and shaking.
Yes, falling to his knees, perhaps. The midwife says, "Do you remember your mother?" And you hear that voice, that human voice, and you also hear this as this large claw sort of slams into the flagstones of the manor house as it's coming towards you. Hix and Bardia are the only and the girl are the only ones consciously there, unless Varric at this point. Yeah, let's say Varric, you've been shunted out of Aldo's vision at this moment. You're muted, but if you have to say anything. But so all of you now see this threat, the midwife, the girl sort of holding this mirror and talking into it, and Aldo just standing there. Do you have any sense of what Aldo looks like during this, Carson? Any thought?
Yeah, you've seen that his the scarring, if you watch slowly, like probably in the ghost field, it's like quick, but you're watching it grow across his arm and a little bit up his neck. A little now down onto probably a rip in his pants from this. Yeah, absolutely. Down onto his hands.
Yeah, right. So, who acts first?
Me.
Not Bardia.
I guess me. I'm just going to be yelling, we're leaving, and I'm going to move into the ritual area and begin shaking people to awareness that there is a crab monster and that we need to leave now and maybe we should go.
You grab the girl first. How does the girl respond?
I mean, I think she just stares at Hix. Like, she's aware there's an intensity there, but she doesn't say anything, and she doesn't exactly react except with a kind of intensity. And she'll break away from Hix and start running towards the doors. Is there a clear path out? What does she see as she's assessing how to get away?
The basic format is that this glass doorway is the back of the house. You could run all the way back through like the banquet hall and the foyer and be out and run out the front of the manse if you wanted to try and get through. That would be one way out, or the other way out is through the midwife, or up on the second floor onto the roof, or those are like generally the options, I would say.
Yeah. She'll get onto the roof and
okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think in order to navigate your way through the house, I think let's do some sort of prowl. I think would probably be the right move. Maybe trying to do so without the midwife seeing you.
6.
Okay, great. Yeah. So you maybe the girl is the one leading Hix up as they're heading out, unless Hix is still trying to shake people.
No, I mean, I'm trying to get everyone out of here.
Okay, great.
But I don't know. I don't know if there's other things that need to happen before we leave.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. So
I mean, I'm trying to leave. But what I
Yes.
mean is, like, narratively, if something needs to happen
Yeah.
before this moment happens, then let's do it. But at this moment,
Sure.
I'm shaking everyone aware and getting the fuck out of this shit
Yeah.
show that y'all dragged me into.
Yes. So
And people can follow if they want, but the girl is not. She's not saying anything. She's just sort of running.
yeah, she like probably leaps up onto the banister like a really big hop, swings herself up over the top of it with incredible acrobatic skill. Is like climbing up, trying to find like a ladder that would lead up to an attic, to the roof, or another staircase, and is just like dodging her way out of. Of the ritual is like rippling and starting to break, and the crabs are coming up the stairs, but the girl is definitely gotten out of the way. We're gonna jump back and get the question that Aldo is asking in the meantime, but what else are people doing in this moment? Aldo is still not exactly coming to.
You see him like like slowly grabbing another shot, and like I imagine that's what this looks like, and he's shooting himself
Yeah.
one more time. Like
Yeah,
the times that he's done it, you see that happening.
yeah.
Not forcing him out of the circle, but Varric's just going to be like, just going to give him a big slap around the face. Just be like, stop chasing ghosts, we have to go! To like an unresponsive Aldo, I'd assume.
Yeah. We're going to make sure we get a few seconds here. We had an audio break for a second. Graham, did you have a sense of where that might have fallen narratively? It's cool. I can just give the recap of what's going on.
It was during
I'm not
the
sure.
crabs. Well, I came back with crabs coming up the stairs. I think it was a big narration
Okay.
about.
Yeah, so the girl, I talked about the girl climbing up the thing and being acrobatic.
Yeah, and then it was cut
leaping
out
up the
there.
side. Yes, and then they, what you notice is that as she's trying to get out, the glass has broken. These crabs are pouring in. They are now respecting the circle. Yeah, it was basically just that the tide is ascending. I'm going to put a tick into tides in the mansion, which is, yeah, does not need further explanation, I think. So, yeah, you're still shaking at Aldo. Bardia, you are sitting on the ground and you feel the midwife coming towards you, and you look up and you see this girl, this small girl, sort of stepping through. The doors are now shattered open, blown open by the tide, and she's just walking slowly forward with this mollusk and is now within 6 feet of you.
So I have an ability to.
No one else can see this girl, by the way. Only.
Yeah. I'll make sure I'm looking at the right character sheet.
Sure.
Not the crab thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I have the ability to. So some of the stuff is with ghosts, others. Oh yeah, so I can perform ritual sorcery. We've kind of affected. Sorry, I know. Oh yes. I'm an occultist, so I have a secret ways to consort with ancient powers, forgotten gods, or demons. Once I've consorted with one, I get +1 die only to command their cultists.
Oh, interesting. You can command the crabs.
Yeah.
I would say.
I mean, it's hard for me to tell what Bardia would know about what the options are in this
That's a good
circumstance.
question.
Like, would Bardia know he's doomed?
No. Well, I mean, he would think, yeah, this is pretty bad. I'm probably doomed. The things that he would see at his disposal are the fact that the midwife and ghosts are not natural allies, and so if there was some way to command more ghosts, you could potentially, like you were using before, to attempt to use them to hold off the midwife. There's also a ghost who happens to have a history of being able to command ghost who's trapped in the mirror. There's also the fact that the ritual behind you is still it's still intact. It is barely intact, but the ritual still is active, and it's possible that you could use the ritual to in an act of great desperation to try to either do something to the midwife or do something to the people in your group and get them out of the situation.
Oh man.
Or something else. Something,
Okay. I just had a few ideas, but none of them satisfy everybody. What I'd like
okay,
to try to
part of
do is, if I can somehow close the circle,
Yeah.
and then if there is some kind of ritual I know that is teleportation, I'd love to start something like that. I just don't know if that would be another like 12-hour thing, and if that's the case, I would know that, right?
Oh, you totally would. Yeah. I think it would be a 4-part clock to succeed at a ritual. Basically, what you would be attempting to do is taking the energy that's been created through this 12-hour ritual and completely redirecting it in a channel that people don't normally do and that it might not be well suited for. So it's absolutely risky. It's wild, but it's the classic just might work kind of situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because you built a gate. The question is, can you use it to move these people's physical forms and not just their astral forms?
Right. Okay. So Bardia will, like, in a spew of language, kind of compose himself, but also, like, trembling. Hix, are you in the circle still?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm
I'd say so.
maybe
Probably
with
wake Aldo.
like the girl is
Yeah.
run off through the, I guess, to the roof, as
Yes.
she likes roofs, so she went up there. And I guess I'm still here with Aldo and with Bardia, and I'm not sure.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
say, Hix, there is something that we can attempt. I could very quickly try to get us out of here. I can transform
Just do
the
it!
circle.
Just do it! Just do
I
it!
need your help, but I need the girl back here.
Oh fuck! Okay, I guess I'll see if I can find her.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, girl, you are not far enough that you would be out of earshot of this interaction.
Yeah.
If we're going to make it out of here, we need to be in the circle.
Sure. So like I'm I'm climbing the stairs. I'll be sort of at the very, very top of the house, and maybe it's like we're in
That's
sort of a
what I
grand
like.
ballroom, right?
Yeah,
So I'll leap my way down and sort of directly into the action.
Yeah, great. Maybe like are you just like falling like 50 feet to the ground? Do you have like a rope or something?
I mean, I think I'm falling and rolling. Is
Okay,
that
great.
too far?
50 is probably too high.
Grappling hook.
You can, yeah, come on, you get a grappling hook.
Okay, I'll grab a
Sorry.
hook. I'll swing down. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. You've got up to the top, and the reason, like before this, you hear this from Bardia. You've gotten to the top, and you hear ocean waves and like seabirds, and you look around you, and it is like you are on an island. The house is entirely like consumed with waves that are washing up against it, and you get the sense as this like orange sort of dusk light is filling this place. You get a sense that you are no longer in the real world. Exactly, that the midwife has sort of taken you somewhere else. So then you're able to hear Bardia's call and go, all right, fine, I guess this is the way. And you're able to swing down and land in the midst of the group. So before we begin the ritual, Aldo, you've just stepped back through the white. You've got sent back to the White Gate after having a fist fight with your friend Bram through the internet.
Yep. Yep. And I think standing there, sort of collecting himself after these two really intense kind of visions and pushing, feeling pretty weak, but looking at that gate and not being able to resist stepping through it one more time, will do so. Now,
Okay.
I have an argument to be made.
All right.
Which is, I just don't have a lot of things to spend. I could spend a dot if I need to, but I'm wondering, stepping through here, shooting up some more mist. I have an ability called Fortitude, which I can expend special armor To resist consequences of fatigue, weakness, or chemical effects when you're working with technical skill or handling alchemicals. So
that's interesting.
it's kind of up to you. I mean, I'm kind of making a slight argument that the alchemical benefits of mist is sort of applying here, but if not, I can remove a dot.
Here's my thought. I think so. Normally, what we said is that it costs 2 things. For a question, the question about Casimir was enough that it wasn't a lot. So like the first time it had to be stress and something else, and something else. So here's what I'll say: you can use the special armor as one of the 2 things. So you could either do on top of that 2 stress, or a harm, or a dot.
Okay, I will do a dot.
Okay, what are you taking it from?
I will take it out of Sway. So
all right,
remove that dot from Sway.
Yeah, you're becoming a bit more honest.
Well, like,
Best one.
No time for lies.
And what does Aldo seek?
Aldo seeks to return to a particular moment in time. And as he steps through, he says the name Ellis. And he has a moment in time, the night, kind of eve before he dies. And is transported to this space, this camp, basically, where the 7th Squadron is made camp for the evening and the night prior to whatever was going to happen the next day.
I can set the scene, or if you'd like to set the scene, you can set the scene. Moira Tin, your captain, is walking by, and she says, "Don't hurt yourself, Aldo. You're working hard over there." And you see you're cooking. You're working on you're making something.
Yeah, not food, cooking bombs, to be specific.
Yeah, you're great. And Ellis next to you is trying on the same fire to cook some coffee for him and his brother. And he's like, "Yeah, this is definitely going to taste fine, I'm sure."
Well, you should be using your own fire. We already agreed to this, didn't we?
Yeah, but here's the thing: we're just like behind enemy lines, generally trying to like keep ourselves not too.
Are you sure you're not just looking for an excuse to be close?
I'm never sure of that.
He just
coffee. He's like,
kind of shoulders him, splashes it a bit.
Oh,
fine. Thank you. And Aldo on the outside is just watching this.
Yeah.
And not intervening or looking at all.
Anyone who's watching this, which is nobody, but Aldo would see his shirt is hanging loose about him. His chest is clean of any ghost burn. It's just all like several scars are no longer there. Shorter cropped hair from the time in the military.
He's looking youthful and surprisingly less tired, even though they're in the mess of war for certain.
And wearing like the Akarosi flag on the shoulder of his uniform, kind of unabashedly.
And I think he just watches for, like, this goes on for some time, and it's just business as usual, and Aldo just watches, kind of like tears coming to his eyes, and maybe reaches for a moment and just watches. It's all he's here for.
Yeah. There's a couple other people you see, a couple other members of the squadron come through. One of them is playing an instrument in one of the tents, and you see Eckerd sitting in one of the tents by himself with a little candle, like reading something, looking, and you catch him sort of looking out at the campfire in a moment that you wouldn't have seen back when you were there. And it's just I think for now Aldo and Ellis at the campfire.
Yep. Yeah, and there's sort of a close up as it's just them as they talk for a minute, and a small kiss, and I think it's probably then that he's shooken out of this.
Yeah, I think
if that's cool. Do you have more?
Yeah, right before it happens, I think you have this. I think the conversation is probably something to the effect of Ella saying, "All right, so here's the thing: Duskfall, not great in winter. Actually, winter's the worst time. You should never come. You just stay in Catalan for the winter and then come to Duskfall later. But when you're there, you're gonna come to my house. You're gonna be with me and my parents and Eckerd. We're gonna have dinner together. They're gonna make something terrible, but just a few blocks from my house, there's this park in Charter Hall, and it's really nothing special compared to what I've seen out here, but I think you're going to love it, and it's going to be a chance for us to just be there, and we'll listen to a busker playing music, and won't be any bombs going off. Look, I know you don't want to come. But you will, just for that.
It's just, my family, they're all here. This is my home. And what we're doing here, I mean, it can really make a difference. It matters.
Yeah. But I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I know you've got a big family, at least from what you told me, but your citizenship is going to come through, and you're allowed to apply for citizenship for them. And I've seen people get permissions for 10 family members.
I think it's something to keep in mind. And how about I counter offer? We go to Duskfall dinner with your family. All this is wonderful, but let's say you come dinner with mine when this is all over. Half the time here, half the time there, assuming you want to spend that much time with me.
I kind of assumed that was already going to happen. We're already in Catalan.
Well, you never said anything.
I'm not as complicated as you, Aldo.
My mom always said that. Ellis, no matter what happens, I love you.
Love you too.
I think this is the kiss, and probably out of it.
Yeah.
And all those, observably tear marked.
Yeah, just draining down his face. This is probably when Varric is shaking him. Yeah.
Great.
Wake the fuck up!
I'm here. And looking and aching at his body and looking around at the situation. What?
I'm afraid we'll need your help.
Yes. Looking at everybody. Is everybody here in the circle?
Everybody's here. Yeah. The girl is standing there just staring out at the water, right? Unless there's something else she's doing. Or she's staring at the mirror.
Oh, no.
What she's doing. Yeah.
Oh, just like solid intensity, very, very quiet.
Yeah. Yep. And everyone's looking at Bardia. What's the plan, buddy?
Please, if you can fend off the tentacles, I'll begin a ritual of transportation.
Yep. So you can go ahead and start with your roll, Bardia.
Okay. I will use my special armor to push myself when I deal with arcane forces.
Right.
And use study appropriate. Is that okay?
Yep.
For having studied
absolutely.
the rituals.
Can I maybe aid you if we maybe narratively say there's a tentacle coming away or something? I don't know. I really want
I
the
might
ritual
honestly
to work out, and
yeah, since I haven't really established what exactly is going on, maybe I pull out what looks like some kind of ancient urn, and I say, will you place this upon my eyelids? And while I'm working with sigils in the air or something like that, I'll have you paint my eyelids with the ashes of whatever this ancient dead person was.
Right.
Yep.
I
don't have 5 dice with me, but I'm gonna.
It seems like finesse, but maybe. But I feel like I would. Oh no! I'm just aiding. I'm just painting. I don't have to roll.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah,
I'm
and
with
you can.
Yeah.
And Graham, you can take increased effect.
Oh yeah, is that okay? I'll take
Yeah,
your aid
that's
for
allowed.
increased effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. To 6.
Okay, yeah. So the tentacles sort of coming forward. These crabs are starting to push in. Some of them are like getting courageous and pushing against the energy of the field, where they get incinerated and sort of roll backwards. The eyelids get painted, and Hix, as this happens, you start to feel Bardia sort of push forward against you until you're kind of embracing him. Where he's like sort of leaning against your shoulder. I'm going to put 3 ticks into the success of this ritual. As this is happening, Bardia, you're going to notice that Bardia's body is sort of sinking down a little bit, and his he is maybe wearing a ring on a finger or something, or wearing some piece of jewelry that is falling off because his body is starting to sort of drip and like collapse a little bit.
God.
Oh my.
So,
Okay.
Meanwhile,
Ted knows how to talk dirty to me.
Oh, you too.
So much romance in this episode.
Oh my gosh.
The queen, being at the tier she is, gets a chance to act on her own. She's going to say, "No, my egg," and she'll like push through like the roof of the mansion, and it begins to collapse. And everyone can make a roll to we'll make a group prowl or something to see who gets hit by any of this.
I guess someone has to lead it. The girl can't always be doing
Yeah.
it
So
since she's traumatized already.
Yeah, stress. Always
Yes.
stress.
So the girl cannot lead it. So who's going to choose to lead it?
I guess I can.
I can do it. I've got a lot of room for stress.
Great, yeah.
And my body's
Get
dripping.
Get that guy. He's not coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mr.
prowl,
Mr. Drips.
Prowl. Yep.
Mr.
Okay. I got a 6.
6.
Okay.
I rolled a 5.
Okay, great. So yeah, these things start crashing around, and you feel that there's one that like falls right on top of you, Varric, and then it is caught by the ritual, like the orb around the ritual, and slides off and crushes 100 crabs underneath it. Hix, however, you are not so lucky with your 5. A huge piece of timber crashes down, like you dodge this thing, and then another one swings as it falls and smashes into you for a level 3 harm that you could resist to reduce.
Holy shit. Okay,
This is the midwife.
Yeah, I'll resist it. This is prowess, I guess.
Prowess, yes.
Oh my god. Whoa, okay, 2 1s and a 6.
Oh my gosh, amazing. So you
baby.
take no stress. This is a reduced to a level 2 harm, which is you being
Great.
struck with this enormous wooden beam. This is going to be it's gonna be like sprained back.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, I just love naming harms.
Yeah,
This is
I
gonna
know.
be crick in the side.
Yeah, I'm trying not to make them lame because
I
I made
know,
fun of
it's
making
good.
harms lame. in the
Look,
past.
you make up for it with the clocks. The clocks are great. Good names for the clocks.
Evil. Yeah, so you guys watch as Hix gets thrown to the side by this thing. He is bruised. He's got blood pouring out of his side. But he's standing up. Like his, stress wise, he's the person most in control of this whole group. Bardia, you can finish it up. You got 1 tick left in the clock.
Okay, I did realize I don't have eyelids, so you're putting the ashes like in a little cake patty onto my eyes.
Wow,
He's like,
great.
Why not?
Varric
Okay.
is pointedly not looking at the dripping man with ashy eyeballs.
And yeah, I will. I'll once again study, visualizing the doorway that I want
Yeah.
to transform this white gate ritual into.
Yes.
That doorway will be the entrance to my tower next to
Sure.
the Keltry Sisterhood. And kind of visualize that open, like broken stone wall window that they walked into. Doing a study.
Yeah.
I'll push this time with stress, so I'm taking 2 stress. So I'm at 5.
All right.
Here goes. It's a 6.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. You are all watching as the mansion begins to completely crumble. The ceiling is falling around you. There's shards of glass falling into the midst of the ritual circle. You're all looking around at this madness as Bardia, the body that is Bardia, this strange body, collapses completely onto the ground, and what is left is a ghost standing in its place. The ghost of a handsome man who looks pretty similar to Darius Rathsbane. And he looks for a moment at you all. Do you say anything, Bardia, to them in this moment as the ritual sort of started to close in?
I'll say, the place I'm sending you is safe. Go. Don't let these troubles follow.
And he holds out his hand towards you, and you all are gone as you see the midwife, sort of this mollusk shape, open up, revealing this absolute monstrosity of eyes and mouths and hands, all sort of pressing towards, and they reach towards the ghost, and it's totally unclear if it has been grabbed by it, as you are suddenly on this like little wooden bridge crossing between these 2 houses in the middle of 6 towers. You have made it back to 6 towers and to Bardia's tower, which the girl and Hix you recognize, but Aldo and Varric you've never seen before because you're not facing the Sisterhood side. Though eventually you can look around and be like, oh, this is familiar.
I'm gonna just let out a shot of the pistol that Varric had pulled out.
Yeah, the neighborhood sort of goes wild a little bit. A couple of ravens in a bush fly off and terrified, and a dog starts barking from inside the house.
Aldo, you'll see like a whole wall of arcane books, and some of them like focused on the trapping of ghosts and the spiritual realms. You'll also see like tons of electroplasmic gear.
Okay, thank you. And Aldo looking around.
Yeah.
Takes note.
Yeah. What does everyone say to each other in these moments?
I'm just gonna sit down and take a breath.
Yeah.
And say nothing.
Yeah. So you head into Bardia's house.
I'm gonna sort of look at the girl and Alden. So, you 2 get everything you wanted then? Yeah? Almost got eaten by a giant clam, but everyone found out everything they wanted, I'm sure.
The girl will stare at Varric for probably a good 8 seconds, and then she'll look at everyone in turn, and she'll take out, and we're on sort of a bridge between houses, right? Like we're in the air a little bit.
Yeah, I was thinking we maybe like stepped into Bardia's house, but whatever you want to, however you want to play it.
Yeah, she'll turn, maybe grapple hook her way down the bridge onto the street level, and she's just walking at an unhurried pace all the way back to the Yellow Parrot and all the way back into her room.
Yeah.
And she's gone.
You're welcome!
And although sort of surprisingly calm here, probably mostly emotionally empty, looks back to Varric and to answer the question. It was my niece. I sent her here to Duskfall from Catalan. She was under my care. I sent her to be watched, and she was eaten.
by the city. Now we know how. And now we know who. And the people that we work for, they are responsible not just for her, but many others. I want you to know, Varric, what you did for me in there, I owe you. Thank you. And I'm going to ask you to help me again. First, we need to get fucking Bram and know where he is. Looking to Hix.
You go get him. I'm gonna leave. I'm just gonna stand and like pat them both on the shoulders. Sorry, is Bardia gone? I was link dead for that. He turned into a ghost and then just pooped.
Yeah, I didn't come
he
with
did
you.
not come through. Yeah, with the
Okay,
teleport.
I'm just leaving. Bye.
No thanks. Yeah.
So I'm alone with Varric again? And as he leaves, turns back. Did you dump it all? Referring to his backpack filled with Leviathan oil.
Look at my. I think we said we had 2 canisters. I said
Yeah.
I dumped one.
So
Look
you
at the
got
one that I
one.
dumped. Is it the one I dumped? Did I smash it? Is it empty? Like completely?
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, the full canister's empty. There's one, and then the other is full still.
Just kind of chuck it off the bridge somewhere into the 6 towers.
Yeah.
If possible, I would not show Aldo the second canister. So,
Sure.
yeah, it's all gone.
Like I said, it means a lot.
You're right. You owe me one.
Let's go.
All right.
He's gonna reach out and kind of squeeze the meat of his shoulder, and we'll go.
So in terms of time, I think Bram, you spent. I mean, I'm thinking by the time you had the conversation with Casimir, you'd been there for 2 days. So the sleeping overnight and staying again and having the option to leave, I think, was available to you before they have returned from this. So the question is, where does Bram go? Do they?
Oh man.
Does he leave? I mean, there might be. Yeah, this might be a scene that still needs to be played out with Casimir.
I mean, if there's nothing else he wants or asks of me,
he's fully assuaged. So you get the sense that he's totally willing to let you go. He's not, he's not convinced that all of your intentions are good, but he's not keeping you there.
Yeah. Okay. I will simply take my leave, and when I exit, where am I?
Oh, this is a good point. He's gonna ask you if you're willing to be walked out of the house.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense. Bram would expect nothing else.
Yeah. So you accept it, and he walks you down a stairway out of his house. If you would like to make a study or survey, you could see what you might learn about the approach to Casimir's house.
You know it. Okay, I will do a study.
And with your migraine, I'm going to give you reduced effect, which I haven't been doing for the whole thing.
Glad you got that out.
Gotcha. Yeah. Take
But I'm gonna push.
that. Great. So push for.
I'm gonna push for increased effect.
Great. So canceling it out. Great. So you had normal effect.
Oh, it's a 3.
Oh no! Dang it! He's controlled effect, so he's not gonna you bumbling around is not gonna make him more suspicious of you. It's just that you in walking out generally get no sense. You're walking down a stair and you're on some stone at one point. Yep. It's really pretty bad. And maybe it's because Casimir just happens to be choosing to be a little bit talkative as you're walking. Definitely not for any purpose.
Yeah, he seems like he's well intentioned. Okay,
totally.
So when he leads me out,
you make it out, and when you are led out, you find yourself at you walk for a little bit, but not too far, probably 5 to 10 minutes, and you find yourself at the entrance of the Heron's Roost.
Oh.
He
Okay.
says he claps his hand on your shoulder. You walk out of this alleyway, takes off your blindfold. He says, personally, I'd recommend you avoid strong drink for a bit, but it's always there if you'd like some more.
Ah, well, I appreciate your hospitality. I hope you stay well.
No. If you ever need anything, Bram, let me know.
Don't answer. No, Bram will stroll off. Maybe I'll hold up a hand as I walk out into the foggy, snowy streets.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll go back to the yellow parrot.
Great. You'll find you get there maybe mid-morning, and you maybe wait there the whole day. Maybe I don't know if you sleep there. You might not. But Fleur Duval does not show up for a long time. Guests come and go. It's possible that if you decide that you're waiting around, you might be in the place, and Tormus might have just let you stick around in the back room.
Yeah, I'll just hang out in the back room where we meet, and Bram will compose a poem and address it to Ava and post it.
All right. Yeah. In what state is Bram when the girl walks through the meeting room to get up to her room?
Oh, he's just finishing up the letter, in the process of sealing it.
Cool. Yeah, so as the girl walks in, pulls aside the curtain.
Aye.
And what is the timeline here? How long has it been since this is as the first time I've entered the building?
That's my thought, yeah.
Yeah. I think, Bram, she looks at you like she does not recognize you and has no idea who you are. But there's a kind of traumatized intensity to her gaze of just, so she stares at you for a good 6 seconds, totally doesn't seem to recognize you, and then continues upstairs.
Yeah, Bram will stare after you for a bit, kind of shake his head, and I don't know that you were the one I was waiting for in particular. I guess I was just hoping for some familiar faces. But if no one else shows up for the night, I won't bother you if you seem that kind of in shock or whatever.
I think I'd love to do something when she gets up to her room, but I don't want to.
Yeah, let me give one little last thing with Bram, which is that Tormus likely informed you. He's happy to see you. He's surprised to see you when he finds you. I think he has to. He probably embraces you and goes, "We've been looking for you. Marisha and me and the others. They're all gone now. But are you all right?"
Yeah, I'm all right. I just needed a little time to clear the air, get away from, the stresses of it all.
Yeah, you're gone for a few days. we didn't hear from you.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't. You know what they went for?
What?
They went to the Lost District.
Fucking hell.
Storm out.
Yeah. Great. Great. So let's jump to the girl. So Bram has maybe left after this conversation or something, some arrangement of time.
Yeah.
But you're alone in the upper room of the builder.
The first thing she does is she takes out a mirror where there may be a ghost imprisoned, but without looking at it, will carefully wrap it up in some scarves maybe and put it in the top drawer of her dresser. And then she'll sit down in front of her mirror, like move her hair to the side, look at the back of her neck. And I'm about to describe a little bit of violence to self, but she'll take a knife and cut the back of her neck and sort of an X mark over where she's been branded by her mother. And as she does, she'll sort of scream and cry and claps, and that'll be her night.
Yeah, she goes to bed, and yeah. So we've just finished a score, believe it or not.
3 session score.
Yeah, it only took us 3 sessions. Oh man, you've all made it back. Let's talk about really quick some numbers. I know that we don't particularly care about the mechanics of this game. No, we do.
Eat some coin.
So, in the aftermath, let's get ourselves some. So the Leviathan oil, you have enough that you could sell it for 4 coin. You also could retain some of it for potential other use. You could.
I sort of imagine that we would, I assume that we have to buy this. It's just part of our operating costs to acquire it for the sake of running the Orca's Tooth. So I was just sort of thinking I would take it to Orisha and offer it to her, and maybe it could like translate into like coin that we have now because we're not spending it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I think it'd be 4 coin worth, so you could just basically take that as payoff of costs you don't have to make. I think that's reasonable.
Right.
Great. So 4 coin is what you're getting from this. In terms of rep, you're going to earn. I think you're going to earn 4 rep from this. Because it's 2 rep and then plus 1 for every tier above. The midwife is no joke. So. Face some pretty high rep stuff. And then in terms of heat, I guess what's important with heat is to know the nature of what happens to you. The Frost Hunters, Orisha Frost's Leviathan Hunter folk, come to you and find you like maybe another 14 hours after what happened. Say that they'd been looking for you for hours on the coast. And then eventually they decided to come back, thinking that you might have died, and they found you at the Yellow Parrot and at the Queen's Magnolia. Comparatively, I think they do not corroborate your story of the ocean rising 90 feet, but they do. What they describe as having experienced is like horrible echoing noises coming out of the Lost District, including like a bright, violent like song, like the Midwife song that was coming across the river and like causing horrible dreams to people in Six Towers and even White Crown. So there was definitely some questions asked. People came looking for stuff. They saw the Orca's Tooth. So I think in my book, that's going to be 4 heat.
I don't really give a shit. Go for it.
Does that put us up a wanted level, Aldo, or no?
It does.
Okay. So you're wanted now at 1.
I'm
since
guessing
you reduced it by a ton last time.
Guessing those
Carryover
wardens are
interested
as well.
Yeah.
Years ago that happened.
Yeah, goodness gracious. Yeah, Hodor, eat your heart out in terms of affecting the past. Jeez. But maybe literally eat your heart out, considering how gruesome all this is. So, over the next few days, what does everybody do? Like, we don't necessarily, we can get into downtime actions for a little bit if people are there, but I'm just curious how everyone reacts to what's happened. Maybe what did the reconnections with Bram look like? Just generally, I'm interested in what narratively you guys think is important for your characters after this.
Varric. So, did Aldo and Varric go off to look for Bram?
Not immediately. I think the way that Aldo and Bram parted in spirit isn't really making Aldo want to move very quickly about it.
Yeah.
So
As if we needed
not.
reason just to fight.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We'll see what that is, but yeah, I think
Maybe you're planning to go at it the next day.
yeah, and he's
at the
back.
moment you are warned that he's back. Yeah.
Yeah. Varric could probably come across from. Have you still been in the Yellow Parrot or on the Orchestra?
I think after I find out that you've all been to the Lost District, I'll try and come find someone. Gosh, where does everybody live these days? Where would I
Aldo
find
lives in
Varric?
the lab.
I'd probably.
Aldo-
I mean, you might be able to
Yeah.
find me on the Orcus Tooth, just like dropping this oil off to Orisha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's certainly possible.
Me in the lab.
yeah, you'd find Varric in the lab. You wouldn't find me in the lab. Probably
Oh, yeah.
as much.
That's
Okay.
great. Bram will
Probably
go
more at
straight.
Bardia's. Yeah.
Bram will go straight to find Aldo and stumble in on Varric.
Morgan, are they there? Up to you. Sorry.
What do you think, Jamie?
Yeah. In that case,
Okay.
yeah, let's play out a little scene that I would have with Morgan.
Okay, so before Bram shows up, we've got Morgan in the lab saying, so does Varric tell, what does Morgan know about the trek they went on?
So, Varric would have told Morgan, I think ahead of time, that they were going to be going to the Lost District.
Yeah.
You would probably have framed it as something that the girl wanted to do.
Okay.
And when they come back, he'd sort of be bragging a little bit about shooting the house and
Yeah.
kind of how he shot the dog in the face and killed it, rescuing his friend Hix.
Sure.
And then just sort of mentioning a little bit like, so, the last time I brought up personal questions, something happened.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, it did.
So, not that I would be averse to that happening again. But I did want to ask you something.
Go ahead.
How well do you know? Do you know Casimir?
Who's that?
Okay. Good. And then he's gonna go in for another kiss.
Yeah. Yeah. They return it. Is this your uncle or someone? I literally
No,
didn't know who this
it's
is.
not. It's not important. It's it's a name I heard. I thought he might have some connection to you.
As in like an
Seems to
ex
be-
or something.
No. No.
Yeah.
Believe me,
Yeah.
no. He's
Not with anyone
A
at the
man-
moment. Yeah.
no,
Sorry.
he's a
Sorry,
man
you're saying-
who seems to be involved in some sort of kidnapping. I just heard some bad things about it.
And I would be connected with him. Why?
I know him through my work, and I know you through my work, and I assumed that there might be a relation.
Oh. You don't have, there's a no, it's a special ability that lurks have, that they can know when people are lying to them. Is that right?
Oh yeah,
But
I
you
don't know
have
that
so
ability.
Okay,
No.
great. So you do not know if this is an honest response, but
a special ability I can have, but I did not.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I stole that from that playbook, but I do
nice,
have
cool,
that.
cool. Yeah, I was
ability.
wondering.
It's
I
not a
was
lurk
like, wait,
ability. Yeah.
I was like, wait, this is
Yeah,
a
no.
slide ability. Yes, great.
Yeah, it is a slide ability. Varric cannot tell us.
Varric cannot take that.
Yeah.
So Morgan continues to be baffled. I'm just gonna put a tick until we know that you know.
Oh yeah.
Probably unless there's more that needs to go on here, Jamie, we probably after this interaction, Bram maybe shows up soon after.
Yeah.
Unless
Either after or during or anything.
Yeah. I think there's probably a little bit of like,
yeah,
cleaning up makeup, red around the mouth kind of business.
Bram, you're back.
Looks like you're doing all right.
Yes. No, I'm just keeping an eye on.
I'm Morgan. I
Right.
work on the lab with Aldo.
Yeah, hi, bullshit. My name's Bram. Anyway, glad you're alive. I came looking for Aldo. I heard you might be dead.
Well, no, I actually took pretty good care of myself out there in the Death Hands. We could have used you though, but you fucked off somewhere.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Glad to see you're alive. I'll check in with you later.
And I'll just stare at Morgan.
Pleasure to meet you.
Light a cigar and back out.
Look, they're not all like this. Some of them are quite friendly.
We've all been such assholes. You're not in our crew. And
Given my
I'll make my
experience-
way to the Orcus Tooth.
Yeah, great. Yeah. And you
Unless
get
there's
on board,
anything, I didn't want to cut off the conversation.
No, no.
If there's anything Varric wants to say.
No,
No,
I think
no,
probably I think Morgan would probably say to Varric something effective. Given the evidence I've seen so far, I might question that hypothesis, but we'll see.
Listen, the girl is very friendly and charming. I'm sure that when you meet, it'll be a much better interaction.
I look forward to it then. Great.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah,
you
so
get
I'll
on
go to
Orcus
the
Tooth,
Orcus Tooth.
and there's a delivery
and
of some
find
Leviathan
Hix.
oil. Yeah. Jean-Pierre is sort of talking to Hix about, have you ever installed this yourself before? You're welcome to watch. I could teach you a bit about it, but I don't want to make you.
Sure, if you please. I'm sort of just
you-
detached.
Yeah.
I just carry the stuff.
Yeah. All right, I'll do it. You don't worry about it. So we're glad that you're alive. Hix.
Thank you.
It seemed that something strange happened out there.
Yeah, and there were a number of strange things that happened in there. I don't know. I don't know really what to make of it. I don't know what to make of the whole thing. I don't know what to make of why we went in there. I don't know what to make of the myriad of fucked up things that I saw there. I don't know what to make of any of it. But we brought back some oil to keep the ship running. So there's that at least.
Yeah. It's certainly a lot of cost to go through for it, but we are appreciative. And it is kept well for being where you say it was for so long. I'm impressed by that at least.
Well, good to hear.
Yeah. And then Bram maybe shows up, unless there's anything else we discuss.
I'll be coming up the onto the ship.
Hix! How the hell are you?
Bram, hi. Been better. How are you? You look well.
Well, I'm all right. I'm all right. How are you? You don't seem well.
Well, we went to
seem
the Lost
exhausted.
District, and it was really, I don't know. Adjectives fail at present. There was a lot going on.
Can I speak with you?
Sure. I'll leave Jean-Pierre to refill the tank, and I'll go with Bram.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, we'll go somewhere out of the way, even if it's just on the other side of the deck.
What, Hix? Why did you go to the Lost District?
Well, we went to the Lost District because a ghost appeared to the girl and compelled her to go there so that she could find answers about her past. And because Aldo was looking to engage in some sort of occult ritual in order to contact some sort of ghost that he never talks to me about in specific terms.
I fucking knew it. Son of a bitch. Well, I don't know much about it, but everything I've read, everything I've heard, has told me it's a fucked up place.
It was beyond anything that I have ever heard about it. The buildings were melting. There were the ghosts picking up. I don't know. I can't even really get into it. We faced some sort of old god. I don't know. No, we ran away from some sort of old god that like ate our guide. I don't know, man. Hopefully it was worth it. But where the fuck have you been? Like you can take some personal time, but what's going on with you? How are you? What's going on? Where you been?
Kind of look off the deck of the ship.
Hix, I need to know that I could trust you.
Bram, you can trust me.
We work for the collective. What's more important to you? That business arrangement or this crew?
I think that I've proved many times that this crew is the more important thing to me. And after learning certain things that I've learned, our relationship with the collective seems to have numbered days at this point.
I'll put a large hand on your handkerchief that you wear around your neck and pull you in for like this kind of weird stiff hug and kind of like let some of that energy of his like fear that he's been holding in kind of out and say,
I've never been more happy to hear that. I mean it, Hix. We're gonna need you because things with the collective, they're fucking over.
Okay, well, I would love to hear more about why you feel that way.
I went to the Herring's Roost, and a Herring's Roost.
Not a Herring's Roost.
Went to Helen's Roost.
I saw the fox, the man with many rings, and he was there with someone I know. He was there with a former student of mine. Someone vulnerable. And I saw his face. And then they took me. They held me for 3 days.
They held you?
I was in Casimir's flat. It was one of those, you can leave if you like situations, but clearly I wasn't allowed to leave. We talked a few times. Casimir's he's a hard son of a bitch. I think he's involved. I think they're all aware of what's happening.
Okay.
He asked me all kinds of questions, trying to figure out what exactly I knew. And I don't know, honestly, if he believed me. But I lied to him.
All right.
I think a confrontation is inevitable.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you know what you know. I've been making some inquiries of my own, and I think maybe you and I can track down the fox, find out a moment when they're vulnerable, because if a confrontation is inevitable, then let's make it start on our terms.
Too right. On our face, we're gonna find a name.
Okay, great. I think I would share what is contained in the collective dossier with Bram. I don't know if it would be going back to my flat, or if I keep it, I maybe keep it on the Orca's Tooth, like in my, I don't know, I maybe have a special little Hixie hidey hole where I keep secret things on the Orca's Tooth that I don't want to have, like, yeah. And I'd pull out these papers and kind of just show where I've been tracking the movements of the masks and Casimir, and I mean, you would see that.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I mean, you would see that. I mean, that I have a to-do list item of find out where the fuck Tulip went, and yeah, my next step is to trail Casimir, but may be different with you helping me finish that project.
Yeah, I'll definitely like share any information Bram has. I'm not artistic, so I can't make like a rendering of the guy's face, but I can give a description.
And you have a radius of like the distance from the Heron's Roost to Casimir's flat. And yeah, you do have some information about the man with many rings, his face, specific things that you could remember.
Great.
Yeah, I'm wanting to sort of bring us to an end here. But I want to give us a hint of something that might happen. I don't want this to be like 2 nights after we've gotten back. So it'll probably be similar to what we did in season 1, where we had a thing happen and then we went back and did a bunch of downtime. I think I want one point where Hix and Bram are together, maybe planning, maybe working on this. We'll kind of see where we end up organically there. But let's say you're either at the Yellow Parrot or in the vicinity, leaving it, if that's all right.
Sure.
And you find yourselves not trailed, because the person makes themselves known pretty quickly, with a woman in a long brown coat wearing metal armor with a great big scar on her cheek. And she sort of at even as like a safe distance on an empty street sort of calls out and says, "Hix, Bram, I'd just like to talk a little bit. Have a moment."
Hello. Who are you?
Reach my hand into my
names.
coat pocket and grasp a pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He says, I don't know if we've ever spoken about our names exactly. I'm Grace Meacham. Bram, you remember this name. Tyne Meacham, her father arrested you. He says, "Listen, I know that this might seem unlikely to you. I can promise you no traps, no legal complications. But Silas Ward, Chief Inspector, would like a word with you." And that's where we'll end our session for tonight.
Oh my lord.
Wow.
Jeez.
Oh my gosh, what a session. So much stuff. Sorry, were you saying something, Jamie? No.
I was just gonna. Good job. We got that wanted level up just in time.
Just
Yeah,
in
no
time for the
traps.
cops to show
No
up.
traps. Come on in, buddy.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna trust a cop.
Okay, guys. Oh my gosh, what an insane session. Let's all meet up after this and like get a drink or something. I'll chat for a little bit. Gosh, thank you for watching. Those who are watching now or later on the VOD. Holy crap, very, very exciting. We're really excited for next week. Also on the channel, we've got Animon Stories, which is happening on Fridays. We've got another one this upcoming Friday. Check it out if you're into Pokemon and kids being adorable and heartfelt and stuff and training monsters.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, if you like this, you're definitely in the same audience as that. That's what we're all about. Friendly, colorful creatures. If this episode is any indication. Gosh.
We'll bring Merrick back.
Yeah. That's the petition. Bring Merrick back. I think I started with Merrick in this season. Giving
is
you
here.
a letter.
Mhm. He's around.
At the Yellow Parrot. Maybe he is the eponymous parrot. Newly died. But looking forward to coming back. We're going to anything else, Graham, that we should be announcing?
No.
Ghostlight RPG?
No, just if you enjoy what you see, please follow us, subscribe on YouTube, follow us here on Twitch. If you're loving what we do, you can give on Ko-fi to give tips to our performers. We also have a Patreon if you're interested in becoming part of the community and supporting what we do. So thank you.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, we'd love to have you all involved. And on YouTube, we try to be good about putting in timestamps so you can follow the season if you need to catch up on stuff. We know there's a lot of details in here that are reward repeat viewing, at least for us, but also for others. So anyway, thank you all so much for being a part of this. It's really exciting and great game, everybody. So we'll see you next week. Farewell.